You get a guy with a sword. I never saw anybody bring a sword out to the dance floor. There's a cane, you know, they're working that cane, you know, and then they got
that cane is amazing.
Yeah, that cane,
yes.
You know, they do this type of thing, you know. I've never seen anybody dance with a cane. Hey guys, what is up?
Welcome back to our channel.
And today we thought it would be pretty interesting to talk about, you know, some of the things that we found like shocking when, you know, we first got introduced to each other's families. So I'll go ahead and start with my first thing that I noticed right off the bat. And to me, the number one thing is separation. As soon as I got introduced to the family and stuff like that, I've noticed that the men, you know, are more segregated. You know, they're just separated.
Not segregated, it's just with Middle Eastern and Muslim culture, a lot of times women are covered, and it's just easier to kind of separate. You know, men do their thing, women do their thing, and there's nothing uncomfortable about it. And yeah, so he found that a little shocking.
Yeah, because, you know, growing up in a Latino family, you know, everybody's always mixed. I mean, every now and then we will have, like, the men will separate, you know, usually it's somebody's garage or something, you know, the guys go out there, hang out, and the girls will stay by the kitchen and cook. So, I mean, it is kind of similar, but I think in their culture it's more, you know, it's...
With my, I mean, it is a cultural thing, but I think with my family, the women are cooler, and we just, it's kind of our break away from our men. So,
yeah.
But I think mine was quinceañeras. When I saw how decked out they make them, I was like, what? Like, I've seen weddings like this. I'm like, you spent how much you took out alone on your house? Like, her dress was how much? You hired a choreographer? That cake was how? I'm like, some people don't even have weddings like this. And then the whole idea of, like, you're introducing your daughter as a woman to the world. I'm like, I mean, that's cool and it's cute and all, but over my dead body will my daughter be a woman at 15? I know. So yeah. I was just like,
and
no.
And by the way, you know, that's more of a like a Hispanic cultural thing there.
I think it's just something they look forward to, but the idea, I was like, no.
I mean, the thing about it is that in many cases, you know, that dates back to like old times where, you know, it was common for a woman to be considered a woman at the age of 15. Obviously, modern day, that's like far from the truth. I mean, people don't look at 15 as that. But I think that's more of a, you know, a Mexican Latino type of tradition that they do. And they're kind of extravagant, you know, it's kind of, you know, crazy in a way.
Yeah.
And I mean, I know from experience because I was a chambalan, which for those of you guys that don't know what a Sweet 16 is, real quick, I'll just say it's just the celebration.
Sweet 15. Yeah,
15. It's a celebration, you know, of the woman, of the girl becoming a woman. And so anyways, I was a chambalan, and what that means is I was a person who actually stands up with the woman or the girl, whatever you want to say, and you know, you're a part of a dance. So it's all choreographed and it's like a show and stuff like that. So I've been in a lot of them, so I would imagine that's probably how I learned how to dance.
I mean, they're cute, and I do love, you know, the daddy-daughter dances and stuff, but like I said, just the amount, I think what shocked me the most is the amount of money that some people put into these things, and it's like...
And essentially, it's just a celebration of 15.
It's an overpriced birthday party.
Yeah, it's an overpriced birthday party.
That's what it is.
You know, when it comes down to it, that's pretty much what it is. So another thing for me that was kind of culture shock was smoking. I come from a family where we don't really smoke.
Chain smokers.
Yeah, and her family in particular, they have a lot of smokers. So for me, that was shocking, you know, to see a lot of people, you know, smoking. And then the hookah, I've never seen a hookah in my life, you know. And for Latinos, a hookah is used for something completely different. I mean, a hookah is, I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I've seen I saw them, you know, smoking out of a hookah, and to me that was like, man, I've never been exposed to these type of things. And she wouldn't really know that much about it, but when I'm with the guys and we're like in a basement or somewhere, you know, just hanging out, these guys are smoking like you wouldn't even believe. I mean, sometimes I feel personally like the other men are trying to outsmoke each other. And I'm over there, you know, like, I just remember smoke school. I'm like, man, stop, duck, and roll. Like, the lower you are, the better you are from being exposed to the clouds of this smoke. Yeah. Obviously, that's not for every, you know, family.
But it is common among Middle Eastern. It's a social thing, you know, which brings me to my next point. With smoking is a social thing. It's a way to socialize, I guess, if that doesn't sound dumb. Which brings me to my next point, which for me, a shocking factor was the amount of drinking. These people drink Coronas like water.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be falling and stomping over, and that bottle is safe. Like, it's there.
Yeah.
So I was like, what?
I mean, obviously, if you guys haven't seen our last video, you know, I am a Muslim, so I've converted and stuff like that. So obviously, I'm the only one in my family who's Muslim. And, you know, so my family, you know, they're Catholic, and to them, you know, drinking is very, very common, very common. And every party consists of alcohol. And to be honest, it's a social thing, just like she's saying. But seeing her perspective, I know it's shocking to her, but it's not to me. And then the smoking, you know, so it's like, it goes both ways. It's like the opposite in all reality.
Yeah, I think obviously liquor has a smell, but it's not as bothersome as, you know, cigarettes can be. I don't want to say too much hookah, because hookah is mostly, you know, most of the time it's fruity and whatnot, so it doesn't bother you as much. But with the cigarettes, that's what he's referring to. Especially when you have chain smokers around, like, you know, my brother or brother-in-law or whoever. It's most of the men in my family. Okay, and another thing for me was the dancing. It's kind of like dance or die. I mean, we dance, but I just feel like you could be at a party or a birthday party or a wedding, and like bachata or, you know, merengue or cumbia or something will come on, and it's like people are in their chairs and they're like, their hips start moving and their legs start moving, and they kind of like get up, and it leads them to the dance floor, and bodies are going, and it's a little too touchy-feely, and I'm like, we dance, but geez, like, and I mean all night long. Like, I can dance, I think 2, maybe 3 inches is my limit. I've seen girls in like 4 or 5 inch heels, you guys, like stilettos, and they're dancing like pros, and I'm just like, how is she doing that? Like, what is this?
Yeah. When it comes to dancing, it was culture shock for me too, when I saw how they dance. I think they dance more with like their hands and stuff like that. You know, they're just like, you know, doing this type of thing. And you know, they move and stuff like that. But Latinos, we dance together usually. It's a man and a woman.
But we don't get as close.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I would say. That's one of the biggest differences.
Y'all get close. I mean, it's pretty and all, but y'all get close.
Yeah, it's very close. Like, you'll hold your woman.
Risque,
you know,
is the word.
You know, you're dancing, you're moving with your woman, and you know, you're holding her and stuff like that.
And everybody knows how I feel about each other.
Yeah, you know, and some, you know, in her culture, a lot of people would look at it and be like, man, this is very inappropriate, you know, and stuff like that. But the way that they dance, I would say, like, it's kind of like a tease, and with Latinos, it's not. It's like you get the whole enchilada, because, you know, you're all together. And then with them, like, even if a guy and a woman dance together, they're not touching each other at all. So they'll be like that.
I mean, there'll be like hand holding or something, but as far as like the close contact that, you know, for example, with bachata, like the close contact that occurs when you're, you know, engaging in that type of dance, like, you probably most likely wouldn't see that ever, like, at one of our weddings or our parties or engagements or something like that. I mean, again, they're nice, and it's, you know, they're 2 different cultures, and there are similarities, and maybe we'll leave that for a different video, but yeah, that was shocking to me. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah. And then with them, the way that they dance too is a lot of the times, well, not a lot of the times, there's some parties where it's separate. Like you'll go to a wedding and the wedding is completely separate. So you have the women in their own room and then the men in their room. And, that was another thing that was shocking to me, is because how the men dance. Aside from, couples dancing, which could be pretty normal, the guys have their own way of dancing. So when I'm in the guys section, the guys, they're holding hands and, they dance in a circle and they're doing these moves. What is it
It's
called?
kind of like...
The dipke?
Dipke, yeah.
Dipke, there you go.
And that's a very, cultural...
It's traditional.
It's a traditional dance, and I think, different parts of the Middle East kind of have their own version of it, but that's what it is. It's kind of like a patriotic, traditional dance, if you will. And I think it's cool. Like when I'm not saying guys get down, or even the women or the girls like get down on a dance floor and they start with that dance, I'm like, yes, like get it, and he's just like, that's weird. I'm like, get out of here.
For me, I wasn't raised with that. I'm not saying I don't like it. I'm just saying it's different. That was culture shock for me. To see men, hold hands and then dance. And then you get a guy with a sword. I never saw anybody bring a sword out to the dance floor. There's a cane. They're working that cane. And then they got
that cane is amazing.
Yeah, that cane.
Yes.
They do this type of thing. I've never seen anybody dance with a cane. The sword too. They'll have the sword and go like this. I'm like, man, you better watch out.
All my people,
Yeah. I've never seen anything like that in my life until...
You guys aren't as cool as we are.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got that dance. So that was kind of shocking to me.
And I don't want to put it out there like our parties or our weddings or anything is always like separated. It's not. And actually these days it's more common that it's not. It's just you still have, certain families and people that are more comfortable that way. And for women that are covered and you kind of want to go in that cute little dress and it's a little revealing, then when you do that, it's more convenient and better for everyone because you get to take it off and be cute and do your thing, and when you leave you cover back up and you're good and you did nothing wrong as far as anybody else knows. So yeah.
And this will bring us to our last thing when it comes to culture shock. For me, I know it's not normal for a lot of other people, but I saw it once and it was weird. Well, not weird, but I guess it's traditional. I saw a plate of Mensa. Could you tell them what Mensa is?
Mensa is basically a dish that it consists rice, usually like basmati or something, and like a yogurt based soup, and you usually put like lamb or veal in it, and you have like bread and rice and meat and the yogurt soup, and you kind of put it all, layer it up, bread, rice, meat, soup on top of all of it, and yeah, you just eat it. Usually people make it, it's an easy dish to make for like big gatherings, whether it be like weddings or engagements or even like birthday party where you're gonna have a lot of people, or God forbid like funerals or something. Yeah, it's just an easy dish to make. So
what happened was we went to a party. I think this was an engagement party, and it was separate. So you had the women, they had their own side, men had their own side, and we were served this big plate of what she's talking about, of Mensa. Yeah, this is my first experience. I went there with my plate. And I was ready to, get, my food together, so I had hummus already, had some food, I had, pita bread. But by the time I came back to where the Mensa was, it was a big plate and it was a mound of Mensa. I saw a couple guys actually, they were grabbing it with their hands. So they're grabbing it with their hands and they're mushing it, and then they... So, they're eating it. You ball it up, you throw it and eat it. Bam. And I was like, oh, I've never seen anybody eat with their hands.
Mind you, I knew that, some people eat it that way, but I had never seen that. Like my family, we use, silverware and stuff. And I guess they were just doing it more traditionally, like they did a long time ago.
Yeah, so I mean, apparently that's how they used to eat it back in the day.
I couldn't warn him. I didn't know they were gonna do that.
Yeah, so they did that, and I was like, yeah, I stick to my hummus. And
we used plates and silverware on our sides. Like, we had dinnerware, so I was like, well.
I mean, for me, it was new, it was different. I've never seen it before, so that caught me by surprise.
Right? It was a good
It was.
experience.
I just didn't eat the Mensa. So, but everything else was good. Yeah, guys, so that'll conclude everything. I hope you guys enjoyed it. This is something that, you know, I found shocking, she found shocking. We figured we'd share it with you guys. That way you could see what, you know, what happened with the cultures when we first got introduced to each other's culture.
Go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can see more videos.
Yeah, and right here by me, I should have like a video right here, so you could click and see the last video. And till then,
We'll see you next time, guys. Thanks.
Peace.